This is ACMi News, recognized nationwide as the first place winner of the 2022 Hometown Media Award for News Access.
Summer-like weather for a spring-like event. Arlington Heights Spring Fling 22 invaded MassAB, bringing with it lots of art, scrumptious food, a bird of prey, and those who wish to keep their distance from that bird of prey will have a report. A newspaper that covered Arlington for 151 years now shares its column space with Winchester. Does that help or hinder coverage here at home? We talked to the editor of yourarlington.com to find out. Arlington's director of libraries closes a chapter here in town, and she's heading for the New York State Capitol. We'll tell you why. And an Arlington florist is proudly displaying its wares on the outside with a striking mural celebrating the native plant species and pollinators right here in New England. We'll meet the creative artists behind these flowers and the important message they carry for all of us. ACMi News starts right now.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered, giving you stories that count from people who care. Reliable, trustworthy, dependable. This is the 2022 nationwide award-winning ACMi News.
We can see clearly now the chill has gone. All of that crisp weather has disappeared. It was the perfect time for Arlington to spring some spring fling on us. Now, say that 3 times fast. Hello, I'm James Milan.
And I'm Anim Osmani. Thanks for joining us. Scores of people celebrated Spring Fling 2022 in the Heights on Saturday, May 21st. After a very confining 2 years, it was a sun-soaked celebration.
Shaking off the long, cold winter and the protracted overcast and windy spring, the sun is here and the time is right for Spring Fling in the streets of Arlington, MA.
It's a huge relief and just nice to be able to connect with people and just be out and about and just enjoying some community time. It's great.
More than 50 storefront windows were painted by our neighbors, young and old alike, to celebrate the colors of the season and to bring awareness to protecting our environment. How cool is it to go down Mass Avenue and go, I did that?
I like it, yeah, it's fun.
How long did it take you to do this artwork here on the window?
Maybe, yeah, hour.
It's a pretty good job for 1 hour, I gotta be honest with you.
Thank you.
Vendors from all over the area, representing reading, swapping, and even climate change, could be seen along Mass Ave.
Well, Zero Waste Arlington has a table here because it's a great way to meet the public, but we're specifically here to talk about the recently passed Article 12, which regulates the sale of bottled water here in Arlington. It goes into effect November 1st.
ACMi also took part, taking you into other worlds with floor-to-ceiling green screen magic in Studio A. Outside, Animal Control Officer Diane Welsh was there with who? Just kidding. Her majestic owl, Nula, who thankfully at the time wasn't hungry.
And the coolest thing is, I love when children say, I've never been this close to an owl. You know, it just, oh, that touches my heart. So I want to talk to them, you know, and get them interested. And they all ask what she's doing right now. Why is her neck doing that? And that's called throat cropping. And it's a way of her panting, like sweating. Instead of like a dog pants, she can't sweat. So she does this throat cropping to cool herself off.
She's really soft.
Oh, and what do you think about Calvin and Cora?
I think he likes us.
We have great weather. It's not quite as hot as we had anticipated, so it's hot, but it's not 98 degrees. So it's a great crowd out here. I think everyone's enjoying it. Some good food, some good treats.
Lemonade?
Some lemonade, some Abbott's ice cream. My boys went for both. And then we got some good music, and great art. Great art up and down Mass Ave, so it's a really great event. And
sounds good. So they had the lemonade and ice cream, you say your kids did?
Yes, they did. Hopefully my wife isn't watching this.
You're going to be up late tonight, you know that.
Yes, I know.
So with the summer temperatures, spring fever has arrived in Arlington, a time when this season's new life enlivens our spirits each and every year. Alfie, what's going on, buddy?
This year's fling was staged by the Arlington Heights Community Association, the Arlington Commission for Arts and Culture, and the Arlington Chamber of Commerce. Arlington's Director of Libraries, Andrea Nicolai, is heading for the Empire State this summer. She accepted the position of Executive Director of the Albany Public Library in Albany, New York. Nikolai began as Assistant Director of Arlington's Libraries in 2012 and was appointed Director in 2015. In the past decade, Nikolai increased access to library resources by eliminating fines and rental fees, adding summer Saturday hours, and scored funding for Sunday hours. She and the Library Board of Trustees also successfully advocated to strengthen library staffing, adding a full-time children's librarian at the Fox Library. She also steered Arlington's library services during the COVID-19 pandemic by expanding digital services town-wide. Nikolai says she'll be moving closer to loved ones who reside in the Albany area. Her last day of Director of Libraries is set for Friday, July 1st.
The 13 Forest Art Gallery at 167 Mass Ave staged its grand reopening event on Saturday, May 14th. And for many, it was a blessing to see the doors open once again. You may recall last August a fire broke out in the cafe next to 13 Forest, which resulted in some major water and smoke damage to the gallery. A brand new exhibit had just been installed, and the gallery team was preparing to open it to the public when flames broke out. Arlington firefighters moved quickly to save as much art as possible, all while keeping the flames at bay and making sure the rest of the building was safe. Fast forward to May 14th, 2022, a celebration of stunning resiliency for the art gallery director and owner. The new 13 Forest is officially open for business.
It feels amazing. We really can't believe how long it took to get back to, just being in our space, but it's really wonderful, and it's so great to see all the, community people who have shown up to support us, and we're so excited about all the new work we have on the walls, so it feels really great to be back.
All week the people have been coming by and just poking their heads in and telling us, thank you so much, we're so glad to see you, so glad you were able to come back, so it's been really nice. So we're at 167A Mass Ave, right in the Capitol Square, across the street from the theater and a block closer to Cambridge. And we're glad to be back. There's lots of new restaurants in the neighborhood, and so we're really happy to be back.
So come on down to the 13 Forest Art Gallery, or learn more about their works at the gallery's website, 13forest.com.
The first public meeting of the MassAB Appleton Street Safety Accessibility Corridor Project is just days away, and you're invited to take part at 7 p.m. Tuesday, June 14th. The town's consultant, Stan Tech Services, will present new information on the design of permanent improvements to be made in this corridor between Richardson Avenue and Quinn Road. Town leaders are seeking public feedback about the goals and priorities for the project as it moves through the design phase to create a safer and more accessible Mass Ave. Town Manager Adam Chapdelaine says all are welcome to attend.
So this is another project that we've been talking about for quite a while now, stemming from the tragic death of Charles Proctor several years ago now at that intersection. Again, as I think folks in town are probably aware, there were what we call quick build improvements made to that intersection after a review and study was done by a design review committee. However, that design review committee did anticipate there being eventually long-term improvements made to that intersection. So we've now worked to hire a design firm named Stan Tech to actually come in, study, and develop those long-term improvements. And part of that will include further public outreach. So there is a public outreach session or engagement session scheduled for June 14th for that design team working with town staff and the Planning and Community Development Department to start to really dig in, understand concerns stemming from the public, and start designing and developing the recommendations for improvements to that intersection. I'll say more broadly, the hope is to be able to get design to a level whereby we can start to apply for MassWorks grant funding so that the eventual improvements can hopefully be almost entirely funded by a state grant source. We've also spread out the area that we're looking at. We're actually asking this design firm to look from the intersection of Lowell in Mass, just past the intersection of Mass Ave and Appleton, all the way over to the entrance to Work Bar, the name of that small road I'm forgetting right this moment, but to really take a corridor look and make sure that we're not only making that intersection of Mass Ave and Appleton safe, but that whole corridor safe for bicyclists, pedestrians, bus users, and motor vehicle drivers.
The in-person meeting will be in the main room of the Arlington Community Center at 27 Maple Street. It's that time of year, once again, time for the Arlington Belmont crew to take to the water. And if you want to help the team out this year, you needn't row one nautical knot. The Arlington Belmont crew team is asking residents to purchase tickets as part of their May virtual cash calendar fundraiser. The funds are needed so that crew can continue to be accessible to all, especially at this time when teens can use exercise, mental focus, and opportunities to build confidence. Your financial help keeps athlete costs down and gives them the resources to develop crew to its full potential. Funds are used for such things as purchasing boats, oars, coaches launch boats, motors, and repairs. It's easy to buy a ticket. Just go to mightycause.com to buy one or more tickets. If you know a high school athlete on the team, you can buy a ticket from them as well. For every donation of $10, contributors get 5 chances to win $100.
We all know you should look both ways before crossing MassAB in Arlington, but soon you'll want to be looking down as well at several crosswalks. Arlington's Rainbow Commission is set to paint the town on Sunday, June 5th, at 3 major intersections along MassAB. Proposed evenings for painting are Sunday, June 5th, Tuesday, June 7th, and Thursday, June 9th. Recently, I spoke to Jillian Harvey, Arlington's Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, about this event, which seems to grow every year.
The Rainbow Commission is going to be kicking off their Pride celebration. So this year, the Commission will be painting not 1, but 3 sets of crosswalks in town over the course of the first week in June. So painting of the crosswalks, there'll be rainbow colors. It's typically taking place at the intersection of Mystic and Pleasant and MassAB, right in Arlington Center. So that one will be happening as well. But in addition to that, in the Heights at Park and MassAB, that will be painted, and then also in East Arlington at Lake Street and MassAB. So if folks are interested, certainly reach out to the Rainbow Commission or to me. I can make that connection if you're looking to volunteer or help out. And then Sunday, June 12th, from 2 to 5, the Commission will be hosting their Pride celebration. That'll be in the Town Hall Gardens. If it rains, it'll be in the auditorium, hoping for no rain. But the Commission will be giving out some swag. There'll be music, just a celebration. I also heard there's going to be karaoke. So want to get your pipes moving, you should stop on by. And keep an eye out for the Pride banners. They'll be going up by June 1st. So they'll be up all month as well along MassAB in the center of town.
Arlington's Rainbow Commission is a volunteer group of residents appointed by the town to promote full inclusion of LGBTQIA+ individuals and groups. For more information on the upcoming street painting, just go to the Rainbow Commission's website, rainbowarlington.org. Again, that's rainbowarlington.org.
In the early days of the pandemic in 2020, all of us dealt with struggles in one form or another. Some struggles changed our lives forever. For 2 Arlington parents, one problem in particular caused them to get creative and tell stories through animation. As I discovered, they probably wouldn't have considered it if it wasn't for the pandemic. The Regent Theater hosts many famous global figures in the arts and entertainment world and showcases their works at the very own historic Regent Theater. But May 22nd brings more prominent figures into town. Actually, prominent figure. One of them came from the Big Apple, while 2 just traveled 10 minutes from Arlington Heights. Arlington native Daniel Leonard and his wife Lorena co-produced an award-winning animation titled Demis Panic, with the latest award being the Gold Remy Award at the World Fest Houston International Film Festival.
One of my friends in New York City said that he had a connection to somebody who knew Bill Plimpton. So they made an introduction, I sent the script, and I had a phone call with Bill. And I was incredibly excited to have a connection with Bill and to have this phone call with him. My expectation was that he would read the script and then we would talk and he'd give me some feedback, like, do this, don't do that, change this, change that, and good luck. But when we got on the phone, he asked me the same question you asked, where did this idea come from? And I told him, and there was sort of a pause. And then he said, well, I like it, let's do it. And that was not what I was expecting at all. That wasn't my expectation from our meeting.
Demi's panic was inspired by Daniel's experience with his daughter when she got alarmingly sick from what was likely COVID in 2020. He described it as a terrifying experience because testing was not available for young children at that time, and that fear led to some mental health challenges.
So that was really scary because she was really very sick. And not knowing what was going on with her was really tough to deal with mentally. And I had this idea that I wished that I could see. I had like a superhuman power that I could see COVID particles so that I'd be able to see what was going on physically with her. And even beyond her, like be able to see what was happening all around us because it was so mysterious at the time, right? So I ended up taking that idea and translating it into a story.
Demi's panic follows the protagonist, Demi, a 20-year-old who lives in New York City and a projection of Daniel's daughter, and shows how the pandemic slowly creeps in between her relationships with her friends, her boyfriend, and eventually her family.
The other thing that I'd like to point out is that the film really explores the impact that the pandemic has had on people's mental health. So the film really, what it tries to do is not only does it make COVID visible, but in Demi's body you can see like all these swirling colors in this sort of very chaotic energy that is meant to signify the anxiety that she's feeling inside of herself.
If you didn't have the chance of watching Demi's Panic at the Regent Theater, not to worry. There are plenty of more viewing options available. You'll catch this film in several other film fests. The next scheduled screening will take place at the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival. If you can catch that, Daniel and Lorena's film will eventually end up on the YouTube channel Omeletto, spelled omelet with an O, a channel that features the top short films from all over the world. Meantime, I seem to have picked up a little of Daniel and Lorena's magic. Reporting here at the 2D animated Arlington Center, reporting for ACMi News, I'm Animo Osmani. If you've driven or walked past Anderson's Florist at 830 Massachusetts Avenue recently, you probably noticed the flowers on the outside. One area artist and several of her Arlington students just completed a masterpiece on the side of the building.
They got a little help from the folks at Artsarlington and Sustainable Arlington to make sure this beautiful addition to the building also carries a critical message for us all. Here's ACMi News Director Jeff Barnt.
Anderson's Florist of Arlington has been selling premium flowers to folks who appreciate nature's beauty and all that goes with it. But take some time to smell what's on the outside. This mural along Newman Way, which continues down the entire block along MassAB, was drafted and painted by area artist Sophie Tuttle with the aid of several AHS students and with the help of their friends at Odison. It shows the native flora and fauna that we are blessed to have here in New England and how nature's balance in the circle of life benefits us all.
The mural represents different insects, birds, and different pollinator pairs. So plants that are specifically have evolved to work with a species like a hummingbird. So for instance, this is the hummingbird and the cardinal flower. Mm-hmm. The cardinal flower has a long tube so that the hummingbird is one of the only species that can pollinate it. So it has the long beak. And same with some of these other plants that they need local native pollinators to pollinate them.
We were really lucky to be able to bring Sophie Tuttle on board as our project artist. She had already done a small project with the students, having them envision how animals might adapt to survive changes in the climate. And everyone really enjoyed being engaged in that project. So she was able to carve out some time for us to design the mural in consultation with not only our interns from the Climate Futures Project, but also some middle school students from the Odison School that Rachel works with after school in the Green Team program. So she collected a lot of ideas from the students and also from native plant experts, Bruce E. Moulton and Jean Devine, who shared some of their extensive knowledge of how intricate the relationships are between plants and insects. And Sophie really did a stellar job designing a just outstanding mural.
I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to do this project, and it was a lot of fun. It felt really good, and it feels really good to be done.
It's a marvelous piece of work, and it also deals with some of the issues that we've been talking about every single day regarding the environment and everything else.
Yeah, I think it's really important that people don't really realize how important pollinators are because they just have their typical grass lawns, but that's really bad for the environment, and it's important for people to recognize this through art.
And I really wish that we could have, done other buildings too, but it was a really fun experience to be part of.
If you were given the chance again, would you do this again?
Yes.
How proud are you that you took part in such a great project here?
I mean, I just think it's incredible that I got to be part of it because, you're going to see it every day and you can look at that and be like, man, I contributed to that. And it's a really great feeling.
How about you?
Yeah, I've always wanted to paint a mural and be part of a big art project like this. This is basically a dream come true, and it brings together the environment and art, which are both things that I'm really passionate about. So
If Sophie said, you know what, we have another project further down MassAB, going to need your help, what would you say?
absolutely, yes, sign me up.
In a heartbeat?
I would say the same exact thing.
I am beyond ecstatic. The renditions that I saw prior to Sophie painting this on the building and the students, I just can't even, it's breathless, the work that they've done. I'm just so happy that we're able to accommodate and have such beautiful art in Arlington, and particularly on our building.
This beautiful mural is a reminder to all of us that pollinators have played a major role throughout our history as inspirations for music, religion, technology, and art. They improve the quality of all our lives, a delicate balance that was gifted to us from nature since ancient times, and one we all should be very thankful for.
We want people to realize that these are crucial parts of our ecosystems. They can be beautiful to look at or sometimes scary, but more than beauty, they have a crucial role to play. And so we're so excited to be working with the students and with the artist.
Cecily Miller wants to thank grant partners Jenny Raitt and Allie Carter from Arlington's Planning and Community Development Department for all their help making the project possible, and Beth Locke from the Chamber of Commerce for suggesting the site.
While ACMi News was Anderson's florist, we learned about a new social art project that helps connect existing isolated green spaces and creates a hospitable urban environment for pollinators like bees to do what they have been doing for tens of thousands of years. It's called the Pollinator Pathway.
We have a garden pathway project. We are doing an interactive map to show where existing native plant pollinator gardens are, because it's so important to the support of our native pollinator species. And everybody knows a honeybee, but the pictures that you see on this building are of the native pollinators. The honeybee comes from Europe, but we have over 400 native bee species just in New England, 3,600 across the country, as well as many wasps and even flies and beetles also do important pollination work. And we want people to realize that these are crucial parts of our ecosystems.
This interstate pollinator pathway finds ways for all of us to use public and private pesticide-free corridors of native plants that provide a natural habitat for pollinating insects and birds. Even the smallest green spaces, like flower boxes and curb strips, can be part of a pathway. To find out more, just go to pollinator-pathway.org. Again, that's pollinator-pathway.org.
Back on the home front, we are past the halfway point in Arlington's annual town meeting. Session 9 went a little faster, taking up several articles, including self-service gas, which failed to pass. Article 17 aimed to amend the existing bylaw, which requires gas station owners to have an attendant pump gasoline, to a self-service gas station operation. Town meeting is held virtually, convening every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. until all articles are heard. ACMi is providing live coverage of town meeting on our government channel, which is RCN 614, Verizon 26, and on Comcast 22. And we are also streaming live at acmi.tv/govlive. ACMi will also rebroadcast each week's sessions multiple times throughout the week. So stay with ACMi for the latest developments in Arlington's Town Meeting 2022.
That'll do it for this week's edition of ACMi News. Thanks for watching us. I'm Anim Osmani.
And I'm James Milan. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.